60 years, $1 trillion. You've had your chance. You've not delivered. You do not live on aid in this country. You are pushing a strategy that has no evidence of working anywhere on earth. There's not a single country on earth today that has meaningfully reduced poverty and achieved long-term economic growth by relying on aid to the extent to which African governments rely on aid today. Not one. And the times in which aid has worked, Marshall Plan, for example, the interventions have been short, sharp, and finite. Not open-ended commitments with no end in sight that you are supporting here. With respect to political institutions, democracy, governance, all those lovely buzzwords that we like to throw around, the fact of the matter is we will never get them in Africa until we have a middle class on the ground that can hold our governments accountable. It is not good enough for us to try and have to shoehorn these type of institutions into a continent where ultimately the governments are once again not incentivized to cater to the domestic populations. Let me give you some examples. Ethiopia, one of the aid darlings. Everybody wants to give money to Ethiopia. This is the second largest population in sub-Saharan Africa, a 100 million person country. Ethiopia has 2% mobile phone penetration rates, and there's no reason why you should know why that means anything, but let me give you some color. In Africa today, the mobile phone penetration rates across the continent is about 30%. There are at least 30 countries on earth today where mobile phone penetration rates are more than 100%. In other words, there are countries where people have more than one mobile phone. If you go to places like Europe, it's very common. But here we have a country where, given the information that we know about mobile phones, for example, in Ghana, it's been seen as a tool to actually increase people's income. So somebody can use their mobile phone to text into town A and find out how much a cow is. It's $20. Text town B, how much is a cow? $40. I'll take my cow to town B. It's actually been seen to be useful in that way. But it's also been seen to be useful in places like Kenya, where people are using their mobile phones to get information about when the doctor's coming to their village. However, here we have a government, an aid darling, that actually skulks around at the G20 meetings looking for additional aid money, that has deliberately chosen not to open its markets, which, by the way, would actually give it a one-off revenue and allow it to earn income through a tariff, but also potentially increase the incomes to its population. But oh no, that would be too difficult. Let's just call up and get more aid. Let me give you another example.
Dambisa,
People just say, can I just say this? With respect to the point, fine. With respect to the point about...
He's going to have to fight on his own side here to get some airtime.
There's disarray in both ranks.
With respect to the question of foreign direct investment, I'll tell you why there hasn't been more foreign direct investment in Africa, because doing business across Africa is a nightmare. African governments, by and large, are not incentivized to create the environments that would support private investment. In some countries, it takes up to 2 years to get a business license. I myself traveled to Rwanda, Kenya, and Tanzania in February. 3 countries that are right near each other. I needed 3 visas and to change my currency 3 times. Does this sound to you like a formula of countries that are actually interested in encouraging private sector development? No. These countries live and die by donor money. They are not incentivized to do the right thing. Ladies and gentlemen, we know what the right thing is. We know what creates jobs. We know that more trade is better than less trade. We know that countries that have relied on foreign direct investment have meaningfully reduced poverty and created growth. And we know that consistently countries that have sat back and relied on aid have underperformed. We know this. Let's not pretend. Let us not make up stories. Let's save the bleeding heart for somebody else. It's time to change.